from the Dark Imp, helping parents reclaim family time by playing board games together. Today we're going to talk about card games. Not just any card games, but whist type card games. There are loads of different variations of whist, and not only named variations, but each family, each sort of area has variations on variations. So please bear in mind when I'm sharing my favourite whists with you today that the way I play one of those whists may be different from the way that you play it, or the way that you might find it played if by watching or listening to things on the internet, or reading web pages or card books. So, without further ado, my three favourite whists. First of all, knockout whist. Some people refer to this as trumps. It's very straightforward trick taking. You deal 7 cards to each player, and usually you'd sort them in your hand. I haven't done that. And on your turn, you randomly allocate the dealer for the first round. The starting player for the first round. Usually it's the person to the left of the dealer. And then the leader, the starting player, selects a card and places it on the table. Now, every other player moving clockwise around the table needs to select one of their cards to play on top of this. So if I am the leader and I lead with a 10 of hearts, every other player has got to play a heart if they can. They have to follow suit. If they can't follow suit, they can throw any other card on top of it, and that's fine. There'll also be a trump suit, which means that those cards trump everything else. They beat everything else. So if I'm playing 10 of hearts and it's not the trumps, and then the person to the left of me doesn't have any hearts, they can choose to play one of the trumps on top. So if trumps are spades, they could play the 5 of spades on top, and they're going to be leading the trick. And then it carries around. Everybody has to follow suit if they can. Whenever you win a trick, you take that trick, that set of cards, and you put it face down in front of you. That's my trick, I've won that. And then if you've won the trick, you're the one that leads the next trick. So you select one, you place it. And everybody follows around again. At the end of the round, when you've played all 7 cards, 7 tricks have been won by someone. And then you count up the number of tricks you have got, and the person with the most tricks will lead... the person with the most tricks will choose the trumps for the next round. In the next round you deal out 6 cards, not 7, and you're trying to get all the way down to 1. 0, 1. Someone's going to win at 1, if not before. So you get all the way down, and each time at the end of each round you work out who's won, and that person is going to call the trumps for the next round. And each time the leading player will move round. It'll be the person on the left of the dealer. If there's a tie for the most trumps, then you can cut the pack. So you can say ace high, low takes, and you each cut the pack, and you've got 2 different people cutting the pack, or maybe 3, and the one with the lowest card, with ace being high, the lowest card will win. Or you can do ace low high takes, or you can make your own ones up. Sometimes we do closest to 7. And then you get further down. Now if you're out, traditionally you're out, but we don't really like player elimination too much. So you can either choose to let them buy in, knowing that they can still play but they're never going to win, or you can play the sort of blind, different special rounds. So if you're out, first time you're out, stay on the same number. So if someone goes out on 5, you stay on 5. You deal another hand of 5, you play 5s again. One player, the player that was out, they put all their cards face down in front of them. They're not allowed to look at them. And they're going to select them at random and play random cards, hoping that one of them will win a trick. If they win a trick, they're back in, everybody goes down to 4s. If they don't win a trick, they're down to dogs, which means you stay at 5s again. It's a lot longer if you play it like this. And they already dealt 1 card. They can look at it, and they can play that card on whichever round they want. Hopefully it's going to be a trump or a high card, so they have some chance of winning a trick. Otherwise, they might not win. If they win a trick, they're back in. They get dealt in, everybody goes down to 4s. If they lose, then they're on blind dogs. They get 1 card and they can't look at it, and they just play it randomly in some round they think they might have a chance of winning. So not when the ace of trumps is being played. And so you might have on any one round one person who's truly in, one person who's blind, and two people on dogs, and they're just trying to hang on. So it's a lot longer if you play it that way, but it's really fun. That's knockout whist. My second whist is nomination. So I nominate nomination whist. We play this where you start with one card each. You work all the way up to 7, you play 3 special rounds, and then you work down again from 7 cards all the way down to 1. You can cut it. You can start with 1 and work up to 7 and not do any more. You can start with 7 and work down to 1. You can choose, you can make up your own pattern. Do whatever you want, but we play this diamond structure, 1 to 7, special rounds, 7 to 1. And what makes nomination whist special is you're each dealt 1 card. On the first round, for example, you look at your card, you know what the trumps are going to be. The trumps go in order, so you just cycle through the suits. So you might say hearts, clubs, diamonds, spades. And you cycle through that every time, and everybody knows what the trump is going to be. You look at your card, you think, am I likely to win a trick when I know it's diamonds as trumps. Let's say I've got this. And then you bid, and you say whether you're going to win 1 trick or no tricks. And I think I might say 1 for this. I'm hoping no one's got a diamond. I say 1. I think if I'm leading it, I've got a good chance of winning. And then maybe somebody else says 1 as well, and that's fine. But if everybody else says 0, the last person cannot say 0. You cannot have something that perfectly works out. You have to have, all your nominations have to add up to not the same number as the number of tricks there are being played. So that there's always going to be someone who can't fulfill what they've said they're going to bid. So when you've got 2 cards, you can either say 0, 1 or 2. But if everybody said 0, the last player can't say 2. They've got to say 1 or 0. As long as it doesn't add up, it's fine. Each trick, you count points. You score points for getting what you said you were going to get. And then you score points for how many tricks you've got as well. So if you got what you said you were going to get, you get 5 points. And if I win first round with this card, quite likely, and I said I was going to win it, I would get 5 points for correctly saying I was going to win, and then an extra point for the card. So I get 6 points. And if somebody else said they weren't going to win and they didn't win, they'll also get 5 points. So you don't have to win tricks to get points. You just have to be pretty accurate about what you think you're going to manage to take. In the middle, we play 3 special rounds after we've done the 7 round. We do a round called No Trumps, where there are no trumps. We do a round called Forced Bid, where we put 0, 1, 2 and 3 in a hat, the numbers, 0, 1, 2, 3 in a hat. And everybody picks out one of those numbers, and that's their bid. They have to bid. They don't get a choice about what they bid, and then they're trying to get that many tricks. It adds up to 6, it doesn't add up to 7, so not everybody's going to be able to do it. And then the final special round is called Misère, and that's where everybody's trying to get no tricks at all, and any trick you take is worth -2 points. And then we cycle all the way back through from 7 to 1. It's quite a long game. The score, you need a good size A4 sheet to keep track of all the nominations, all the actual bids, or all the actual tricks achieved, and then the score, and then the running total. So you sort of need 4 columns for each person. So have a good A4 size sheet. That's nomination whist. And finally, my third choice is solo whist. Solo whist is played with 4 people around a table, and you're going to deal 13 cards to each player, so the whole pack is going to go out, so you're going to have a nice large hand. And this starts with a round of bidding, a bit like bridge or other forms of whist, and you look at your hands and you look at your cards and you work out what you're going to bid. So in fact in solo whist there are lots of different bids. There's one called prop, there's one called cop, that it goes up through a list, and you can look online for the full list. But I remember when we were young, we just played with 3 different kinds of bids. The first one was a solo. And if you say, I'm bidding a solo, It means that what you're going to do is you are going to say, right, I'm going to win 5 tricks. And everybody else works against you to try and stop you winning 5 tricks. And if you win 5 tricks, you get 3 points. And everybody else gets -1 point. But if you lose your bid of a solo, you're going to lose 3 points and everybody else is going to get 1 point. In solo, all scores are always add up to 0. So you're either going to be below 0 or you're going to be above, but they're all adding up to 0. So the first bid we use is solo. The second one is misère. Now we've just talked about that in nomination whist. You're saying, I'm not going to score anything with my hand of cards. I'm not going to score any tricks at all. And you win if you don't take any tricks at all and the other 3 all playing against you as a team, they take all the tricks. And if you win a misère, you get 6 points and everybody else gets -2. But if you lose it, you get -6 and everybody else gets 2 points. And the third type is abundance. And if you declare abundance, then you're saying, well, I'm going to get, I think it's 9. I'm going to win 9 tricks. And I believe that for abundance, you can name your own trumps. I think that's how we play. Again, everybody plays with slightly different rules. And that's the beauty of these traditional games. You can make them into what you want them to be. You can have your own kind of contracts. You can work out different things that you can do. So if you're playing abundance, you're saying, I'm going to get 9 of these tricks and you lot can't stop me even working against me. So you're only going to bid that if you've got a really strong hand. So there we have it. 3 different kinds of whist, all with one standard deck of cards.